Welcome back to Lost Odyssey. Okay, now that we're done with that, only one more dream, and this dream is given to you as part of the main story. So let's move on with the main story.
Let me guess, it's gonna be a lengthy one, isn't it?
Yes, well, it's the one and only dream that details Ming's past. So basically, it's an entire dream dedicated to Ming's backstory.
Kind of a shame that Sarah never got a dream of horror.
Well, technically, we already know her past tale. She lived with Kaim.
That is true,
Yeah.
but considering Kaim traveled a long time on his own, it seems easy to assume she did too.
Well, that's the thing.
It
Well,
would've been
actually, no.
nice.
To remember, Teo, she has been turned into that evil witch, and she's been in that mansion for most of that time. So technically, no.
Oh.
Don't a
True.
lot of these dreams take place before Kaim even had a kid?
Yeah, that's at least what's implied, at least specifically that kid.
Hi!
I speak with a Majesty's voice.
Jensen, get off the stage.
Don't do that again.
Please.
We'll get us all killed.
Welcome home, Your Majesty.
True.
Oh, you bootlicker.
Thank you all for bringing our queen home to us unharmed.
So that I can hide.
Right. Are we ignoring the fact that he tried to kill us with a tank
Even Ming
last
doesn't
we
trust
met?
him at all.
General, I have caused you concern. I ask
Ah.
that you look at me.
All of our people prayed for your safe return every day you were away from us.
The people outside surmise that they hate you. Why is that?
You must be tired from your long journey. Please rest and refresh yourself.
In the totally not booby trap bed.
Right. We're not seriously going with. Oh my god, we actually are. What?
Hold on, Jova.
There it is.
Jova. For now, let's just put a pin on that, because trust me, the game is going somewhere with this.
Bro, that guy just literally told some to the
And again,
Yeah,
since
okay,
this is Kakanas we're talking about, turns out he was crossing his fingers behind his back the whole time, and boom!
what a rapscallion.
He's literally having them fire.
Wait for it.
You idiots.
How dare you return, you worthless harlot!
Wait, what?
Angry? Ha, as if you had the right.
He's talking to the queen, but not like as a take that, queen, like not directly to her.
Also, I guess these guys should have been included the fact that this takes a few hours later during the night, because the way the cutscene was presented, it made it look like it happened immediately after.
No, this is hours
So I'm
after.
guessing.
This is hours after. Hold on. Wait for it.
So basically, this guy is literally Looney Tunesing us.
People of Numara belong to no one.
Haha.
She's behind me, isn't she?
General, you are such a fool.
Did you really think I would fall for that?
Plan this!
So she could catch him in the act.
Desires shall never be fit to lead.
You're fired.
Pathetic you are.
What? I'll kill you all!
Temper.
It's a shame.
Dude,
It's a shame Kakanas doesn't have any non-voiced lines. Otherwise, I'll just have Glibs voice them.
Numara
Dude,
here.
you tried once with the tank, just because you have three at the same
Ah, but
time
now I
doesn't
have.
change anything.
But don't you see, Teo? Now I have 3 tanks.
This is Dr. Eggman's logic.
I mean, even Dr. Eggman mixes it up a bit. He realized eventually, maybe I should stop trying to make different copies of Sonic and just revitalize Metal Sonic to be better. Which, if IDW is anything to gone by, he did a good job with that. really, Kakanas, your brilliant scheme was I'm gonna come at them with more tanks.
Remember,
Also-
Jova,
Well,
this is
technically,
not-
Jova, in IDW, Eggman lost his memory for a while, and Metal Sonic was acting of his own accord. So.
No. Well, I'm talking about later comics, though, that show that
Okay.
he actually figured, hey, maybe I should treat Metal Sonic well and he won't rebel against me.
Yeah, he also has a bunch of, shadow androids at some point in the
think
comics. I
he's-
mean,
I
because
think
that's kind of part of either Tangle or Whisper's backstory.
To be fair, that's a thing from Shadow the Hedgehog. I think he still does have shadow androids.
But anyway, what I was saying is, Jova, that's the thing. This is exactly the same type of guy of the general with the cross tattoo on his face from Xenogears. The guy that just wanted to focus on having a big gun, and even the rest of the bad guys commented on how much of an idiot he was, and they basically sent him to die.
I love that his brilliant plan amounted to, okay, let's have them sleep at this place and then open fire on them. Such a big brain plan. And I'm sure that none of the citizens would hear of this and rebel. Now I'll show you the real price for treachery. I can tell Nobuamatsu had fun with this track. Like, has there ever been a soundtrack where he didn't have fun with?
Honestly, the stuff he did for both Fair Fencer F games, some of his most generic and boring stuff I've ever heard from him. Honestly, like if you
Is
put
it
like look at
sad that I completely
like
forgot he was
exactly
in both of them?
the title, specifically the title screen for both games, and there's such generic tracks that I can't for the life of me even remember.
Remember, Pedro, it has both Nobuamatsu and Amano's artwork.
Well, that's the thing, Joe.
Anyway.
By Amano's artwork, what they mean is he drew one deity, specifically the evil goddess, and that's it. He also made the logo, and that's it. Now we can put his name in all over the marketing thanks to this.
Anyway, that's the strategy. So the support heavy tank sucks energy from you to power up both the tank and the cannon, and then they unleash powerful attacks.
Surely, Kakanas.
Sorry, it reminds me of the marketing for BVS, where remember technically because of the association with Man of Steel, Christopher Nolan and his wife Emma Thomas are credited as executive producers. So the marketing also took advantage of that to put their names in the movies. See, Nolan is technically tied to this. He didn't actually have anything to do with the movie. He's just executive producer, as in like he got like a portion of the profits or something. But his name is in here.
He's in the movie, kinda.
Well, as in he's tied to the movie, not in the movie.
So not appearing in this title.
Ah, just like Hugh Jackman in Chaplin.
The only movie that Nolan directed where he plays a part in it is in Following, his original indie UK film before Memento.
I guess that's because there wasn't much of a budget.
No. That movie was actually made over the course of a year whenever Nolan had free time. It was literally it was literally a side project to his actual job at the time.
Was he working in McDonald's?
I don't know, Joseph.
Oh my God, Joe! He's doing the same thing of General Hein from Five Spirits Within, because it's at his last ropes. He just wants to constantly fire the cannon. Dude,
Yes.
I get it. You have a tiny penis, but this doesn't work.
Imagine it now. Nolan gets told to do something. He comes back with this 15-page essay, and his boss is like, "Chris, we just wanted your opinion on how the hamburgers are
Haven't you
cooked."
seen the state of the world? With pacifism as our only policy, we will never be perceived as equal to other
You know, trying
we-
to give me this speech after firing on me repeatedly isn't
we-
helping the chances.
Are we sure this is not an audio log from Bioshock?
I
wonder.
Power is needed. But General, the power you seek is power only for yourself.
And that's no good.
Okay.
Level heads win battles.
Fittingly, Ming had the killing blow.
Well, not always, but yeah.
We got even a gun for said.
Yep.
Perhaps when we actually use them.
Your Majesty!
Maya.
Oh, you're safe!
So I guess we should go arrest him.
Don't worry.
If he's still alive.
It's not your fault. I was too lenient with him by far.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I afforded him the opportunity to run unchecked, and for that, the responsibility is mine.
Yeah, in hindsight, why did I do that?
He's right. I mean, that general is twisted.
Well, remember, we ran away from Numara in a hurry, technically,
Even
so...
he too is another of
Well, she's
Gongora's
talking about,
many
like,
victims.
even while she was
He
ruling.
does really well by himself.
Your Majesty, may I know the names of your companions?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Oh,
these
excuse
are,
me.
my
I haven't introduced
travel
you.
mates.
These are my loyal ladies-in-waiting. Maya here is my chief lady-in-waiting.
Greetings and welcome to Numara. We are honored.
Hey, we finally got a
Maya,
welcome after nearly
these
getting
people
killed
have
several
become my
times.
dear
Twice
friends
at
and
least.
to be treated with the greatest courtesy. We are all working for a common goal, and we have an urgent mission to complete.
A mission? And what of Numara, Your Majesty?
Oh boy, you may want to sit down for this. There's a lot to unpack. Yes? Go
Your
on.
Majesty?
Until I carry out this mission,
I'm sorry, I was having a flashback.
No, she was thinking about what to do, because remember, like, they need her they need her here, but at the same time, she was thinking, but I'm sorry, I can't.
Your Majesty?
I need to...
Playable.
Not just that, but I mean, like, if we don't stop Gongora, Numara will be destroyed along with the rest of the world, so technically she's also doing this for Numara, technically. Which means...
We could use some of Numara's resources to help us deal with Gongora.
So basically, the ladies in waiting will handle things in the meantime.
Yes, my queen. While Your Majesty is away, we shall protect Numara. We shall not
Maybe we
let-
should at least let the citizens know. Oh wait, no, they already know because we came in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can't use the Numara army, but well.
And here,
Kakanas
ladies
may
and gentlemen,
screw
is
that up.
the final dream of Lost Odyssey.
Aside from the DLC one, I
Yeah, aside from the
presume.
DLC ones, but we'll get that in the extra part. The Queen's Loneliness.
How fitting that the last
So
dream we see would be
lovely.
Ming's.
1,000 years can change everything, including the landscape. Queen Ming surveys her capital from the palace window. The panoramic view is like a great history book. 700 the volcano towering the distance, which used to spew clouds of smoke, went dormant 700 years ago.
Yeah, I noticed that 500 to 700 switch game. 300, 400, 500.
Once part of the sea, the inlet was reclaimed 500 years ago to become a village for the fisherfolk who spend their lives on the ocean.
Lana?
More like Venice, Jova, the aesthetic of the boats seem to match that.
The river once arched grandly across the landscape, but the deluge that occurred 300 years ago became the occasion for major flood control construction in the form of a perfectly straight channel. Where the river used to curve, there is now an oxbow lake in which reeds grow in profusion, and the banks provide the people with a rich natural bounty.
It does make me wonder, do you fish off, is fishing common in, the Venice waterways?
Oh, yeah.
100, 150, 200.
Even the area that formerly was a barren, rock-strewn wasteland became a vast fruit-bearing garden thanks to the irrigation project that was undertaken 200 years ago.
Oh. 50, 75.
The mountain
100.
that was the center of the people's religious faith was enveloped in sky-scorching flames 100 years ago. Formerly swathed in a thick green covering and seen as the home of the gods, the towering peak was transformed into a bare rock pile by the forest fire that burned for 3 days and nights. Almost everything that lived in the forest, birds and beasts of course, but many people too died in the flames. The people in the village below mourned the horrible transformation of their god's abode. But now, 100 years later, the mountain is as green as ever. The people of the village and the people of the mountain still tell the story of the fire, but today's children can hardly imagine that the rich green slopes were once charred and blackened. So yeah, these are only some of the examples of the various noteworthy things that happened in the 1,000 years that Ming has been a queen of Numara.
Okay, look at that. A politician who uses their immortality for good.
Restored for this to its original green lushness, of course, the mountain could well be enveloped in flames again, 100 years ago from now, 200 years from now, or even tomorrow. Even if it should be charred bare again, however, trees would sprout anew, the birds and beasts and insects chased away by the fire would return to their homes, and given enough time, the mountain would be covered in green as before. Such are the workings of nature. Given enough time, dizzying stretches of time.
I guess that when Maya became our chief lady in waiting, she was probably just a teen, if not a young adult.
It's basically part of, George Carlin's rant about, the ecology battle.
But no, to become dizzy at the thought of vast stretches of time is a privilege of the ordinary folk, those who have no choice but to devote all their energies to living in the present. How fortunate they are to be able to look back to the past 1,000 years ago like an old man telling a child a fairy tale. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago. And how truly fortunate one would be able to tell the story of this country's future as a rosy dream, the way children relate their own dreams of the future with flashing eyes, and to entrust that dream to the next reign. Ming stands at the window like this every morning. It is a special time of day for her, when she thinks about the livelihood of her subjects, watches for signs of enemy intrusions, and ponders measures she might wish to adopt. She has done this every day without fail for the past 1,000 years. The country has flourished. The people no longer starve as they did when she first took the throne.
How nice.
The 1,000-year-old... Okay. Future historians will no doubt sing the praises of Ming's 1,000-year reign. She will be extolled as the 1,000-year-old queen, and her noble figure will be vividly engraved in people's memories. Cherishing these memories of her, however, people will die before she does. The historians who praise her too, instead of witnessing her reign to its end, will themselves become part of history. Ming has been queen for the past 1,000 years, and probably will be for the next 1,000 years as well.
Little did she know what was to come.
Two. Okay. Her Majesty is in excellent spirits again this morning, I trust. She hears the voice behind her, her gaze still fixed on the streets of the city below. Ming answers.
You are early today.
Not so early, if Her Majesty herself is already observing the smoke rising from the cauldrons of her people. She not needed to return ascertain the identity of the smiling face behind her. It belongs to Nagram, her senior minister. The smile is courtly, genial, but deep within the narrowed eyes, she knows there resides a dark gleam.
Dark gleam of ambition.
This also is going to tie into the whole thing we just saw with Kakanas. Today I will accompany Her Majesty in the inspection of the troops.
You?
Yes, owing to a slight change in assignments today.
Is that so?
I am hardly up to the task, but I will do my best if Her Majesty will allow me to serve her in this capacity. I beg her permission. With her back still turned to Nagram, Ming gives a silent nod. Ah yes, she thinks to herself with a bitter smile.
Their plan goes into action today.
Ming has sensed for a very long time that Nagram is up to no good. He apparently has seized command of certain units of the Royal Guard. Scattered throughout the city, too, his people are lying low, ready to set fires as soon as his orders come down. No doubt about it. Today, when the regular ceremonial expansion of the troops is scheduled to take place, is the perfect day for a coup.
Oh goody, another assassination attempt. Don't they realize I'm an immortal for a reason?
When Negrim leaves, Ming enters her office and summons Hans, the most senior of her ministers, a true elder statesman and her most trusted confidant. Hans, who sports a luxurious beard, has served Ming for over 40 years too.
Your Majesty, I understand Nagram was here earlier.
Yes, apparently he is to accompany me to the inspection of the troops.
This is all she has to tell him. Stroking his bushy beard, Hans says,
That means we're rather low patience.
I know,
replies Ming.
I'm sure they can't wait to get started. Okay, so to give her credit, Ming was very savvy in the war game.
This also ties into what we just saw Kakanas. She noticed that Kakanas was up to something, which is why she did the whole thing to catch him in the act. There.
What a fool Nagram is. He has absolutely no idea what your Majesty has been letting him set his own trap.
If he was smart enough to realize that, he would be taking at least 2 more years to make his preparations.
Then he would have had much more power at his disposal. He could link up not just with the Royal Guard, but also the main body of the army and the police force. He could conspire with external enemies and arrange for them to invade just as the ceremonies were getting underway. Then his coup would probably succeed. If he had the long-range vision to include the wealthy merchants and the intelligentsia among his allies, he might even be able to mount a revolution that would overthrow the monarchy itself.
That is what I would do if I were Nagram. As long as I was undertaking a coup, I would think about that much at least. This does beg the question, though, why was she so... Well, then again, she had lost her memory at that point. I wonder if Gunvor wiping her mind made her more trusting.
Exactly. Hans' smile could not hide the fact that all this talk of successful revolution was making him uncomfortable.
Her Majesty is unmatched by any enemy except one, Her Majesty herself.
You may be right,
Ming thinks. If she had an enemy with an eternal life like hers, who was willing to devote all the time needed to planning a revolution, be it a whole century or even 2, the result would surely go beyond revolution and develop into a full-scale civil war. Human lives, however, are limited in duration, and because of this limitation, humans rush to achieve results before they are ready. Negrim is one of them. If he could live up to 200 years, to say nothing of 1,000, he would not be trying to take part in such an in-between point in time.
The greatest power that immortality gives you, patience.
Yep. I literally have all the time in the world.
All bad.
Dear,
says Hans.
I have to admit that Nagram has extended his forces far more successfully than I ever imagined. What have I been doing all this time? I was really ashamed of myself.
Oh, don't let it bother you, Hans. Thanks to your inattention, we will probably be able to smoke out many more rats.
Ming gives a satisfied chuckle. Nor is this mere bravado on her part. They chose not to arrest Negrim at an earlier stage, but allowed him to swim free for a while in order to take this opportunity to net the entire force of rebels both inside and outside the palace.
Go for the big one instead of the quick and little one.
Not to mention catch him in a more precocious, more in the act thing. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Hans replies and goes on to explain the plan for crushing the coup. His plans are impeccable. The coup has virtually no chance of succeeding. All they need to do is carry out a wholesale arrest of the rebel Royal Guard units that rise up in the palace and the partisans looking in the city. And it will be some time before any more individuals with outsized ambitions show up again.
This will be our first purge in 15 years.
Hans remarks.
Has it been that long?
It certainly has, Your Majesty. This fine beard of mine was jet black last time.
A lot of it becomes a blur to me now.
Hans commended the troops that put down the coup 15 years ago. Loyal, courageous, and cool-headed, he is the ideal staff officer. Without a doubt, he is one of the very best military advisors Ming has had in over 1,000 years on the throne.
Selfish of me, Hans. I should have let you retire years ago.
That is out of a question, Your Majesty. Serving you is my life. I am deeply honored to have this final opportunity to be of service.
Be a shame if he died and got replaced by Kakanas.
Well, okay, I don't think we know yet how much far this takes place.
True, not even this superb retainer could be with her for all eternity. In another 5 years, 10 at the most, Hans, like all the royal retainers in the past, would be laid to rest to sound the military cannons. It is always like this. Just as the ambitious ones rush to make their mark because they cannot live forever, the loyal ones in whom she can place her complete confidence stake their very lives in serving her because they cannot live forever. They carve their names in a single line of history, and then they depart from Ming for the rest of eternity. Ming herself, though, goes on living. Eternal youth, immortality. So this is the dream of humanity, is it? None of them knows the loneliness of eternal life.
Maybe if everyone were immortal, then no one would have to feel the pain. Actually,
In theory,
that is an
in theory, if everybody was immortal, people wouldn't value life or their time. When Hans next addresses Ming, there is a new urgency in his voice.
All the troops with you who quelled up the rising, I will command the ones outside the palace. Do I have Her Majesty permission to put command of the interior palace guards in the hands of my young protege, Jan?
Ah, yes, Jan.
He may be young, but he's extremely capable. I've nurtured him carefully. I know he will serve Her Majesty splendidly after this old soldier is gone. I'd like to give him the opportunity to distinguish himself in the current emergency.
Ming herself is fully aware of Jan's outstanding qualities. Young as he most certainly is, he far excels at the other chamberlains in both the civil and military acts. He is undoubtedly the prime candidate to succeed Hans as Ming's top general. Remember,
one interesting take on immortality I've seen is actually an episode of Black Mirror, San Junipero, wherein you can be immortal, but for as long as you want. Basically, when you want to go, then you can just go. The Good Place also worked with that kind of idea for the afterlife.
What are Her Majesty's thoughts on the matter?
All right, then. Let him take charge.
Her Majesty has my abundant thanks. I'm sure Jan himself will be deeply moved to learn that he has earned Her Majesty's confidence.
Hans all but prostrates himself before her, an expression of relief on his face of having obtained Ming's permission.
But still,
He continues.
Her Majesty has been wary of Nagram for a very long time.
True.
She says.
Meanwhile, this old soldier of yours has no idea whatever that Nagram might be planning a rebellion. I'm deeply ashamed to confess it now, but to me, he seemed the very model of loyalty. How is that Her Majesty was able to see Nagram's actual disloyalty?
Ming only smiles without answering his question.
The same thing happened at the time of the coup 15 years ago.
Hans continues.
The only reason that we were able to suppress the revolt before it even got started was because Her Majesty saw it coming before anyone else. Then, as now, I was blind to the traitor's plot.
Maybe I'm psychic, or maybe I'm just used to patterns. If you say so, Hans.
Has Her Majesty forgotten?
Well, it was so long ago.
Ming tries to evade the issue. There is no way she could have forgotten. The ringleader of the coup 15 years ago was our most trusted retainer. When she first broached the subject to Hans and the others, warning them to be on their guard against the man, all without exception insisted that he, above all, was beyond reproach. In the end, Ming's suspicions proved to be correct. She knew. However faithfully he carried out her orders, however warmly he swore his loyalty, she knew. Those days, however, she has begun to wonder on occasion if that is something to be grateful for.
Oh god, it would suck if Hans is actually the ringleader of this latest coup.
Or Jan, no?
Or Jan.
It's more tragic, the person that even the old man
she can see,
favoring for.
They said before at the beginning of the dream that she can see a dark gleam in the traitor's eyes, so it's this, she can see it in their eyes. The landscape is not the only thing that changes in 1,000 years. People's hearts also change. After numberless meetings and partings over the centuries, Ming has come to realize the fragility, the evanescence of trust. She no longer trusts anything in words, neither can she fully trust everything in action. She knows by looking at a person's eyes. That way she can tell everything, to a mysterious and disheartening degree. In the eyes of all those who would bring harm to this country, without exception, there resides a dark gleam. It is there in all of them. The man plotting a coup, the man secretly involved with foreign enemies, the man threatening his purse with heavy taxes wrung from the people, the female spy who seduces high ministers to extract state secrets, the man who accepts huge bribes from merchants eager for the glory of becoming an official purveyor to the royal household.
Ah, politics.
But isn't this corrupt, though?
This is illegal, you know.
Neither their words nor their deeds give them away. Often the man himself has no idea of the misdeeds he will later commit, but Ming can tell. Only Ming, who has lived for 1,000 years. The silent voices tell her, "Be careful."
This man.
Don't
take your eyes off that woman.
This was not the case in her youth, but having repeatedly tasted the bitter experience of betrayal, having been assailed by her own regrets and self-reproach, she has learned to doubt.
You know, it'd be funny if back in the earlier years people thought, okay, I'll just assassinate the queen, tries to kill the queen, she lives. Well, crap.
Probably. I can imagine that Ming can see what no one else can, that dark gleam deep in the eyes. That has enabled her to ward off a variety of disasters before they could start. The kingdom has managed to flourish because Ming has more often chosen to doubt than to believe. This is the best course for her to follow as queen. It is, however, an infinitely lonely way to live. Negrim's coup collapses in an instant. The rebel units of the Royal Guard, who draw their swords against Ming during the inspection of the troops in the plaza, become the prey of Yan and his men, who had been hiding around the perimeter. Meanwhile, the anti-rebel forces under Han's command pounce on Negrim's followers, who had been gathering to set fire to the city, and arrest them without resistance.
Smokey Bear wasn't having none of that.
Poor Negrim grovels on the earth, begging for his life. To him, Ming says only,
I grant you the right to die with honor.
A soldier lays a sword before Negrim. Wordlessly, Ming conveys to Negrim that it is time for him to take his own life. She turns on her heels and returns to the palace under armed escort.
Now you have my person to die. In sync. Holy cow. Still, man, that was raw.
This will keep anyone from having thoughts of fomenting a rebellion, for a while at least. The peace of the kingdom has been preserved, but it will not last forever. When the memory of Negrim's coup begins to fade, 10 years from now, or 20, or even 100, another man with ambition will emerge, as has happened so many times before. It is the role of the queen to accept this endlessly repeating cycle, Ming tells herself, sighing.
Do you realize how many coups, how many assassination attempts, how many double crossings I've had to deal with in my whole blipping life?
Ming is standing at the palace window, surveying the city streets below when Yan enters the room. Dwebs, you be Yan.
Your Majesty, I'm here to report that Nargrom successfully took his own life a short while ago.
Oh, did he dispatch himself with dignity?
No, I mean he did. Traitor though he was, he died in a way befitting a commanding general. He shot himself.
Well, in that case, return his body to his family.
She turns and stares straight at Yan, whose spine stiffens under the outside of her gaze, and then she sees it, without a doubt. That dark gleam flashes deep within his eyes for one fleeting instant.
So Yan is another one, is he?
She thinks with a bitter smile. Unable to fathom the meaning of her smile, Yan is at a loss for words.
Thank you for all your efforts,
Ming says to him. Suppressing a sigh, she turns to the window again.
Thank you for the important thing, Yang.
Now kill yourself.
Damn.
The sky stretches overhead in an expanse of blue. The only thing unchanged for the past 1,000 years may be the blue of that sky.
But still, I am the queen.
Ming tells herself, meditating on her role.
I am the one who rules this country and maintains the people's happiness.
She gazes long and hard at the sky, rising to her full, proud height. Oh look, it's Queen Ming! It's Queen Ming! A little boy in the alleyway below the castle spots Ming and begins waving at her wildly. Queen Ming! Queen Ming! A woman, the boy's mother no doubt, charges out a doorway and, bowing humbly to Ming, begins scolding the boy for his rude behavior. Ming herself, however, waves back at him, a placid smile on her face. Smiling joyfully at this unexpected response from Her Majesty the Queen, the boy starts jumping up and down, shouting, "Long live Queen Ming! Long live Queen Ming!"
Quite literally, I can't die.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yep, I will rule over forever.
Ming stares again at the sky above. Unchanged though it has been for 1,000 years, the blue of the sky penetrates more deeply into her eyes and her heart than it ever did in the days of her youth.
She ponders, I've never felt in all these years, why is the sky blue?
And there you go.
That was a happy ending.
I guess it...
The white boa.
Go on.
The
I guess it
white
figures
boa?
that the last dream we get
it's a
would
ship,
have a happy ending.
Well, it's still a bitter bit by the fact that she already knows the fact that Jan will eventually try to betray her.
Bittersweet, okay, but definitely leaning more in the happiness that we do know that she'll be able to maintain her kingdom.
But hey, here's the plus. We scored a new ship, believe it or not. So.
The one shaped like a boot.
Oh, I meant no insult to the Nautilus. She has shown unmatched maneuverability. And we shall have need of her again. Please, lend us your help when we need it.
Yeah, sure. Leave it to me.
We should be able to berth the Nautilus inside the white boa. That way.
So yeah,
We are
basically.
actually using the ship shaped like a boot.
So yeah, now we're going to use the gigantic ship of Numara, and we can even put the Nautilus inside it.
And hey, this time we won't be captured prisoners inside of it too.
Ming,
What is it?
will you go back?
Mm,
Not to
oh.
but to your country.
True, you have to choose.
You must choose at some point.
Will we ever get to see what their world was like?
Unfortunately, no.
That I do feel like.
Many important things.
Granted,
to be done in this
maybe
world.
it's up for us to
Mind you,
interpret, but I feel.
there is. I forgot if it's even spelled directly in the story, in a cutscene or in Gongora's journey. We do get an idea how it kinda is in a descriptive manner.
Will you do
So I
that?
can tell it will be kind of hard to portray it on a visual level.
I guess it would help to know more about it to, get the stakes of, hey, what are they choosing between returning their state?
My guess-
that will technically be said one way or another, but I forgot exactly where it is.
My guess is the world where they come from is probably not that much different. And the major important thing is that when they come in here, they're immortal here, basically. All right, and that was all right, everybody. In the next part, we will go straight and take it to Gongora. So see you then.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.